Aladdin didn't have a blueprint. He didn't sit at a desk with rulers, scrolls, and architectural plans spread across the floor. He didn't take a night class on palace design. He didn't hire a team of builders, argue over materials, or spend months trying to explain the picture in his head to someone who only half understood it. He simply had a vision. And once he found the lamp, everything changed. Now, before we get carried away, let's be fair to Aladdin. The lamp wasn't the whole story. Plenty of people could have held that same lamp and asked for something small, forgettable, or wildly impractical. The magic worked because Aladdin could imagine something bigger than his current circumstances. That is where the story gets interesting. Because for a long time, building anything online felt like the opposite of magic. You may have had the idea clearly in your mind. A place for your community. A home for your content. A space where people could learn from you, buy from you, connect with you, and keep coming back. You could picture the hub. But then came the tech, the coding, the platform rules, the templates that almost worked, but not quite, the buttons that refused to move where you wanted them, the sections that looked fine in the demo but somehow made your idea feel smaller once you tried to use them. And little by little, the dream had to shrink. Not because your idea was weak, not because your audience didn't need it, not because you lacked creativity, but because the platform kept asking you to fit your imagination into its little boxes. The problem was never your idea. Imagine Aladdin asking the genie for a palace, and the genie replies, "Sure, but you can only choose from these 3 approved layouts." Or, "You may have a golden entrance, but only if you upgrade to the premium stone package." Or worse, "Sorry, palace towers are not supported on this plan." Ridiculous, right? But that is exactly how many people feel when they try to create an online hub. They start with a big idea. Then the tech starts trimming it down. Can I add a private member area? Only if you connect this third-party plugin. Can I organize my lessons like this? Not with this template. Can I make it feel like my brand instead of every other site? Maybe, but you'll need custom code. And there it is. That quiet moment where excitement turns into frustration. The creator becomes the mechanic. The entrepreneur becomes the tech support desk. The coach, consultant, teacher, or community builder spends more time fighting the platform than serving the people they built the hub for in the first place. That is the part nobody talks about enough. Most people do not quit because they ran out of ideas. They quit because the building process drained the life out of the idea. The lamp was a bridge. In the Aladdin story, the lamp matters because it removes the gap between imagination and creation. Aladdin can think beyond what he has seen before. He can ask. He can describe. He can dream out loud. And then the impossible starts becoming visible. That is the same emotional shift happening right now with AI-powered creation. Instead of needing to understand coding, design structures, page builders, plugins, integrations, and every tiny technical step, you can begin with what you actually want. You can speak it. You can type it. You can shape the hub from the idea itself. That changes everything. Because suddenly, the starting point is not, what does this platform allow me to build? The starting point becomes, what do I want this to be? That is a completely different conversation. One is about limitations. The other is about imagination. From, how do I build this, to, here's what I want. Think about the last time you tried to create something online. Maybe you wanted a central place for your offers. Maybe you wanted a hub for your clients. Maybe you wanted a training center, a resource library, a community space, a course portal, or a branded home base for everything you do. At first, it probably felt exciting. Then came the tabs, the setup guides, the tutorials, the copy this code snippet here instructions, the endless clicking, the why does this look weird on mobile? Spiral. Before long, the original vision was buried under technical chores. But with an AI-powered hub builder, the process starts to feel human again. You do not have to know the secret language of developers. You do not have to be boxed in by whatever elements the platform decided to give you. You are not stuck rearranging the same tired sections and pretending it feels custom. You can simply describe what you want to create. A hub for your coaching clients. A member-only learning space. A place where your audience can access resources, trainings, links, offers, and community features. A branded experience that feels like yours from the first click. That is the modern version of rubbing the lamp. Not because it removes all thought, because it removes the wrong kind of work. The work that slowed you down. The work that made you second-guess yourself. The work that forced your idea to shrink before it ever had a chance to stand up. The real magic is not the AI. Here is the twist. The real magic is not the AI. It is what the AI gives back to the creator, momentum. When you no longer have to stop every 5 minutes to ask, how do I do this? You can stay focused on the better question. What should this become? That is where the best ideas lives. Not in drop-down menus, not in rigid templates, not in long help docs. Your best ideas usually show up when you are thinking about your people, what they need, what would make their experience smoother, what would help them take the next step, what would make your brand feel alive instead of assembled from spare parts. That is why this kind of product matters. It gives creators room to think like creators again. You bring the vision. You speak or type what you want. The AI helps turn that vision into a working hub. No coding degree required. No wrestling with platform limits. No waiting on a developer to see if that's possible. Just a faster path from idea to experience. A better question for builders. For years, online creation has quietly trained people to ask smaller questions. Can I make this work with what I have? Can I afford someone to build it? Can I learn enough code to fix it? Can I force my idea into this template? But the better question is much simpler. What would I build if the tech finally got out of my way? That is the heart of the product. It gives people permission to imagine first, to build from the outcome they want, not the limitations they inherited. To create a hub that matches the idea in their head instead of settling for the closest available option. Aladdin's lamp was never just about getting more stuff. It was about access. Access to a life he could picture but could not reach on his own. In the same way, AI-powered hub creation gives everyday creators access to something that used to feel reserved for people with big budgets, tech teams, or coding knowledge. Now the barrier is lower. The blank page is less intimidating, and the idea does not have to wait. Your hub is closer than you think. Maybe you already know what you would build. Maybe you can see the layout in your mind. Maybe you have been carrying the idea for months, waiting for the right time when you finally have the money, the skills, the team, or the patience to bring it to life. But what if the right time is not someday? What if the next step is simply describing what you want? Speak it, type it, shape it, refine it. Build the hub around your imagination instead of trimming your imagination around the tool. Because the future of online creation does not belong only to coders. It belongs to people with ideas, people with communities to serve, people with knowledge to share, people with businesses to grow, people who are tired of being told, that's not supported. Your hub should not be limited by a template. It should not be trapped inside someone else's platform rules. And it definitely should not require you to become a developer before you can bring your idea to life. So go ahead. Make the wish. Then build the hub. The lamp is already in your hands. Start writing your post.